The paths we take can challenge us, make us question everything we believe in. Even heroes can lose sight of who they are when their faith is shaken. But what truly defines us? Our beliefs that tremble under pressure? Our challenges that we question the meaning of? Or our actions in the face of those challenges? The mods needed for this build are 5E1 DND cantrips, 5R DND Backgrounds PHB 2024, Critical Role Vestiges of Divergence, Loulette New Heads, and P4 Bangs Everywhere. The members of Vox Machina have official D&D sheets, so their BG3 builds will follow them closely with some deviations here and there for constraints or additional options. In addition, Vox Machina characters were originally built for Pathfinder, so there are certain things that were translated from Pathfinder to D&D that don't have an equivalent in BG3, even with mods. Starting with the basics, we know that Pike is a gnome, and for the subrace, we are going to go with Deep Gnome, and this needs a bit of an explanation. So Pike's ancestors are Deep Gnomes. But the Critical Role Tal'Dorei campaign says that the Trickfoot clan are forest gnomes. In addition, there's a contradiction in her information regarding Deep Gnome abilities. The wiki says that Pike does not have Deep Gnome abilities, but her official character level updates include Superior Dark Vision and Stone Camouflage, both of which are Deep Gnome abilities. And she does not have any forest or rock gnome abilities. Therefore, we are going to go with Deep Gnome for this build. The class is of course going to be Cleric, and the 3 starting cantrips are going to come from her official build, and this is going to be Thaumaturgy, Sacred Flame, and Spare the Dying. Now, Spare the Dying comes from the 5E1 D&D cantrips mod. For the subclass, we are going to go with the War Domain. Technically, Pike started as a Life Domain Cleric, and after her death and resurrection, she decided she wanted to become stronger and switched over to the War Domain. We're just going to start with the War Domain. For the deity, we are going to go with Lathander. Now, Pike's deity is, of course, Everlight, and Everlight does not exist in BG3, so we are choosing the closest one available. Everlight, also known as Sanray or Ray, is the goddess of redemption, healing, and temperance, and has associations with the sun and dawn, so Lathander is the best stand-in. Now for the background, you're going to need a mod here too. You're going to choose the Guard background. The mod is 5R DND Backgrounds. This background will give you the 2 skill proficiencies that Pike's actual background, which is Sailor, provides: Athletics and Perceptions. It also gives you the Alert feat. Now, the Sailor background does exist in this mod as well, but the skill proficiencies do not match what is in D&D for some reason. If you don't mind having the extra feat, go with the Guard background. If you really don't want that extra feat, your next best option is to take the Outlander background. Now, when it comes to ability scores, oddly enough, unlike the other Vox Machina characters we've done so far, Pike's scores are pretty much obtainable, as long as you're willing to ditch some uneven scores. However, we are going to leave the strength score uneven so that you can use the hag care later on to get the strength up to 14. So we are going to put the strength at 13, the dex at 10, the con at 12, the intelligence at 12, the wisdom at 16 with the +2 modifier, and the charisma at 14 with the +1 modifier. This is very close to her official ability scores. As for the skill proficiencies, you get athletics and perception from the background. And for the other 2, we are going to go with religion and medicine. Now, religion is from Pike's official build, but medicine is not. However, In BG3, the cleric class gives you 2 skill proficiencies, so we're going with medicine because it works well with her class. For the 4 prepared spells, we are going to also follow the official build as much as possible. We will be going with Cure Wounds, Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, and Sanctuary. Now on the official build, there are only 3 level 1 spells listed, so you can choose the 4th one as whatever you like. We are personally going to go with Sanctuary because we know she gets access to that spell later on. Alright, and now we will move on to appearance. Now for the appearance, we're going to do what we have done with the Vox Machina build so far, which is trying to match the appearance to the character in the animated series. So you start with body type 1, identity female. Voice 4 is probably the closest available. For the head, you are going to need the Loulette New Heads mod, and we are going to go with the Lily head. Now you're going to choose part of the hair here as well, and this comes from the P4 Bangs Everywhere mod. Scroll down, and you're going to go with the Shadowheart Fringe 2 selection. For the skin tone, we are going to go with Palette Tone 5, so just a little bit of tan there, but not too much. For the scarring, we are going to go with Scar 1. The scar is over the wrong eye here, but this is the only eye scar that we have available, so we're going to use this one. Over to eyes, we are going to go with Blue 2. For makeup, we are going to go with Makeup 4. Keep the color at black. Turn the intensity up to 100%. For the lip tint, you want Red Cold 4. Turn the tint up to 30% intensity, and the metallic level up to 10%. Down to hair, you're going to choose the mongoose tail haircut. Now, this is not exactly like Pike's haircut in the show. The ponytail is obviously a lot longer, but it's basically the only low ponytail available for the gnome race. Unfortunately, there are some really great hair mods that would fit her style better, but they are not available for this race. So we are using the Bangs mod to provide some of that hair in the front that we see in the show. For the hair color, we are going to go with Blonde Ash 1. For the highlights, it is going to be Natural Blonde 2. I'm going to turn up the intensity all the way to 100%, and this just brings in a little bit more color. Okay, and that will do it for the appearance. On to the build. The build for Pike, like the other Vox Machina builds so far, is relatively simple because there is no multi-classing. So at level 2 cleric, there's nothing you need to do here unless you want to mess around with your prepared spells. You are unlocking the Turn Undead action, pray to turn all undead that can see you, and the Guided Strike action. You gain a +10 bonus to your attack roll. At level 3, again, nothing to do unless you want to change the prepared spells. You unlock the Magic Weapon spell and the Spiritual Weapon spell. At level 4, it's time to select another cantrip. I am personally going to go with Word of Radiance. However, there are only 3 cantrips listed on Pike's official character sheet, so this is dealer's choice. I think Word of Radiance is somewhat flavorful with the Dawn Martyr armor, so that's what I'm going to go with. It's also time to choose the first feat. The first feat is going to be ability score improvement with a +2 into wisdom. At level 5, nothing to do here. Spells unlocked are Spirit Guardians and Crusader's Mantle. At level 6, you're just unlocking your subclass feature, Channel Divinity War God's Blessing. Endow a nearby ally with the glory of your god to grant them a +10 bonus to their attack roll. At level 7, you unlock the spells Stone Skin and Freedom of Movement. At level 8, you unlock the Divine Strike weapon action, and it's also time to choose the second feat. For the feat, we're going to take Skilled, and we're going to take the points in Stealth, Sleight of Hand, and Persuasion. Now, in Pike's official build, she does not take the Skilled feat until level 16. But since we are only doing 12 levels, we're taking it early so that it can be used more often. Also, we only know that Stealth and Persuasion were taken here. The third is unknown, so we're going to go with Sleight of Hand since the Trickfoot family was known for being thieves. At level 9, you unlock the spells Flame Strike and Hold Monster. At level 10, it's time to choose another cantrip. We're going to go with Guidance, As stated earlier, this is dealer's choice because we don't know the rest of the official cantrips. Guidance is a good functional choice, so we're going to choose that. At level 11, nothing really going on here. And then at the final level 12, you choose your final feat, and once again, it's going to be ability score improvement with a +2 in wisdom to get that up to 20. That will do it for the build section. Onto the bonuses. Some of Pike's equipment simply doesn't have a good analog in BG3, that being her Celestial Shield and her Frostbrand Short Sword. For the shield, I recommend grabbing the Shield of Devotion in Act 2 at the last line in, simply because it's great for clerics. For a short sword, just grab something decent like the Short Sword +2 or the Baneful Short Sword to have on hand in case the enemy is resistant to bludgeoning damage, as your main weapon will be a mace. For Pike's Mace of Disruption, the Blood of Lathander from the Crash in Act 1 is a great stand-in, with a similar Shining Light ability and debuffs to the undead. For Pike's Sprinter Boots, you can use the Boots of Speed, gifted or scavenged in Act 1 in the Underdark, which are very similar. The Gauntlets of Ogre Power have a great stand-in, the Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength, found in the House of Hope in Act 3. Although it should be noted that the Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength are stronger than the Ogre Power ones. The Gauntlets of Ogre Power is a piece of equipment that was exchanged multiple times between Grog and Pike. When Grog got his Titanstone Knuckles, Pike kept the gauntlets. Because there is a mod for the Vestiges, you can let Pike use the gauntlets even if you have Grog in the party too. And speaking of the Vestiges mod, you're going to want it for Pike as well, so that she can gain access to the Plate of the Dawn Martyr. For some odd reason, the creator of the mod made the plate light armor, so have fun sneaking in full plate. That's it for the Pike build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out the rest of our Vox Machina builds, and keep an eye out for more in the near future.